Welcome to the FilmFestival Cottbus 2020, and hello to two-time main competition winner Oleg Novkovic and Milena Markovic, the director and the writer of The Living Man. Thank you very much for your time and your film.
Thank you. And it is great to be on the Cottbus Film Festival again. Unfortunately, it is online, but somehow I hope that audience will enjoy the movie anyway.
Yes, so let's start with a simple question. How did you get the idea for this film?
Well, it was it is a funny thing because I read a small article in a newspaper about the guy who get drunk and he was out of conscious and then get to the hospital and they declared him dead and he wake up in the morning in the morgue. So that was the main thing where we start to think about our movie. Of course, then the story went in a completely direct other direction, and at the end we have this one, which is quite different from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. So I can imagine that for me, when I see the film, it's very much driven by a very authentic male perspective on life, I would say. But Milena, how did you get a feeling for that kind of writing, or was it just observing Oleg was enough to understand that?
When I think about writing, I'm not thinking male or female. I'm thinking about human writing, and I don't think that I'm also a poet and a playwright. So I don't think that I have some kind of special position because I'm a woman. I am a woman. I mean, that's the fact. But I'm together with all the humans who are writing all over the world, with all the humans who wrote, in last centuries and in the centuries to come. So when I write dramas or movies, I go deeply into characters. So if the character is male, I'm deeply drowning in him, and if he's a female, I deeply drown in her. If he's a child, I deeply drown inside, and trying to make it authentic. So it's not just a male perspective. It's more, it has some nobility in it because it's actually a story about something that is wasted. And all the things that he does, it's because he wasted it. And but I suppose it would be some of your next questions.
Yeah, actually, that was interesting. That I thought, what is that fascination about this main character, about this story between them, that he is in a way looking back on a life that a lot of people admire, but at the same time, I think a lot of people admire this kind of, have a fascination for a lifestyle like this. But when we see it now in reality, it looks, as you said, a little bit of wasting your life. And what was your fascination about that topic?
Well, it was how to say, the story of a lot of my friends, a lot of my people my generation, in my age, and it's also a question of facing the true story of your life in the age of 50 plus, and this is something which is some kind of one of the topic of this movie, with our character who is refusing to get old.
Yeah, I think also there are a lot of scenes where not much is happening action-wise, and it all comes down to this fantastic actor, Nicolas Cage. And I'm interested in how did you work with him on these moments where he's sitting around and he's maybe just like not knowing what to do, you know? At some point it feels like, I mean, not knowing what to do is what he's acting, right? And at some point I thought maybe he's just gonna leave the film, you know? Maybe he's just gonna walk out of the house and go into a taxi and whatever, go, and we will see something else going on, you know?
Well, first of all, of course, he's a fantastic actor, and now he has even in some kind of international career there in USA, playing in another season of Stranger Things. But first of all, for me as a director, it was very good to have a excellent character which was written by Milena, and it is also, so it is quite inspiring to work with such a good actor and with such a good text, and then then it is quite easy when you have the clear idea what you want to achieve. It is quite easy to find every little moment of every second of that film, and action actually exists. It is under the surface. It is inside of the characters, and all of them, him and his wife, they have some kind of action. They have their goal. They have the conflict. There is always something which is happening, and we maybe cannot, as a spectator, we cannot clearly put it exactly what it is, but we can feel that there is something inside which is going on and giving us this kind of drama.
Mm-hmm. And I can imagine, like we see in the film, that marriage is a very difficult thing. Now with you two, marriage and combining the creative process, I don't even want to imagine when I see this film, you know? So how are you collaborating? Like when you are writing, Milena, is there, are you talking about it? When he's shooting, are you talking about it?
When we are working together, it's strictly professional. And I mean, you know, when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be with artists. So at the end, I found for myself an artist, you know. And it's a huge story. And the good thing is that if you're working together, you're actually having absolutely the same, exact the same dreams and system of values. So that is good. But when we are working, it's strictly professional. That means that director is on a hierarchy. It's the main person who gets all the decisions. So I'm not, I cannot have the whole picture. I'm not directing, and it is always driven by Oleg. So I write a text alone. Then I give it to Oleg, he reads it, and he tells me what to do in the next hand, you know, that looks like it. Then I write it again, then he again tells me what to do in the next hand. And I'm not blabbering about that because it's not useful. It's a collective thing, and the director is the person who have to make all the decisions. No other way is good for this kind of artistic discipline.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, I mean, there is a private life and there is this life when you are somebody who is trying to make something, and it is always two different things. I mean, most of the time we are talking about who is going to go to supermarket or make lunch or dinner, and the things which are connecting to our work, it is something which is happening only in this time when we are really making something. When Milena is writing, I'm waiting for her. Of course, in the beginning we discussing what really we like to do, what is our topic, what is the subject which is interesting in this moment in our lives. But after that, Milena is writing, and then I'm reading. Is it a synopsis or a kind of a treatment or something in between? But anyhow, then I'm collaborating, saying something which is about that, what I think, what I don't like, what I think that it is suspicious or which is great, etc. So actually Milena is writing, and I'm kind of something like a supporter or someone who is involved, but like episode, like somebody who is on the side. And after the thing is done, then it is my time to find my point of view, my point on a subject, the thing which is actually idea. What is the idea of the script? What is the idea of film? How it will looks like? What kind of author manuscript is going to be inside? What kind of visual storytelling is going to be in the movie? What kind of editing? What kind of what time of the year it should be, etc., etc. This is something which is now this thing which how I will make it alive, because script is only letters on a paper, mm-hmm. And then the film is completely different media. We are talking through pictures, through situations, through conflicts, through relationships between characters. And this is something which we are doing through films. And the script is just base, just the beginning.
There is one thing in the marriage of these two people in the movie, which is quite important. They're both want to be an artist, and they're not. They're like, Chekhov characters. They're nobodies. They're not talented enough. He was a, minor guitar player in some minor punk rock band when he was young. She finished the Academy of Art, but she never as a painter. But she never became a painter. I mean, she's somebody, and that made them really. How to say, in a moments that's give him the greatness, and that's give him the pathetic flow, because they had the big dreams and they're little nobodies now, and that's the most problem in their life.
And of course, because a lot of people everywhere, this is what I think make this movie universal, because a lot of people in our generation can recognize themselves in those characters. That's something which I think it is very good for that film, and that not only in our generation but plus minus, it is the question of those people who are not young anymore and who are facing that they will not be something which they dream to be.
And there is one very important thing about the time which is gone now. I mean, you're younger, much younger than us, so you know it. This is the story about rock and roll, which for our generation used to be some kind of simulation of freedom. So you have this, and you know that it never existed actually. It never existed. You know now that it was also some kind of propaganda, and you know now that it is gone, you know. And those two people were in that story. So they lived like from the lyrics, from the songs, you know, you're somebody, you have something to say. If you say something, say it loud. You live your only life like an artistic piece. And they did it. And now they're 50. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking that there is this scene where Dela stands at the traffic light and looks at this woman who's looking at her phone. And at that point, I just thought, like, I mean, she never realizes that he is looking at her. And I thought at that point, is the living man dying out?
Well, this is this kind of whole sequence is about that he's watching the life in this scene where there's a tango dancers, and after that there is this young beautiful woman waiting for a traffic light, and there is all this walking, this looking at life from nothing, but you are not inside. He is not inside. He is outside of that life. So there is a lot of thinking about missing possibilities.
Yeah.
About this is that time passed. For everybody, it's not, this is the human destiny, but this is something which is happening in the head of our character in this moment.
And what did you, like, during the process, it is also a confrontation with your own life, as you said, and what did you take out from yourself?
Well, this is some kind of difficult question because it is hard to separate it. You know, when you're working on a script and a film, you just first find your personal perspective on the subject, and then try to be one of them, one of your characters. To first to love them, and then to be completely harsh on them as well. To be really cruel on them. And then in that connection between love and cruelty, there is something which is born and which I consider as something like a real film, real movie.
So you didn't waste your life, you feel? That's good.
I don't think so. But in another hand, yes, I wasted a lot of time and a lot of bad decisions. And I'm sure that most of people who are sincere to themselves can say the same thing.
Yeah. So how are you spending your time in the lockdown? Or, I mean, you don't have a lockdown, but in these difficult times?
Well, mostly we are at home, and going outside on the park by the river. Belgrade has two beautiful rivers, and walking and talking and making a lot of phone calls and things like that, or like, and waiting for things to pass. And we are maybe thinking about another movie, but also it's also a question what will be with the movies when this crisis passed. How the films will look like, and how the presentation of films will look like. This is something which we don't know. I'm hoping that we will find our friends and the people around us again somehow, that you can hug somebody and kiss without fear that maybe there is a disease somewhere near to us. This is something which is really making living very different.
Well, then, thank you very much for the Q&A, and let's hope that soon we will be able to hug and kiss again.
Thank you.
Thank you.